What is the number one key to success? Some people might say it's talent, some might say it's work ethic. I believe it's consistency. Regardless of everything I've tried to accomplish, whether I was good at it or not, or I put time in to get better at the skill, consistency and constantly showing up to do those things was the number one key indicator towards my success. But now here's the thing. Not everybody's good at being consistent. You yourself might be watching this video and you probably think you suck at it, but it's not necessarily you that's the problem. In fact, it's your lack of systems that is. So in this video, we're gonna cover what consistency is, why you suck at it, and how to solve this problem so you can be more consistent. Don't go anywhere because that final tip is gonna be the most useful. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Serge. I talk about self-development, dating, and relationships, all for men. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button if you find the content valuable. And if you really like it, feel free to share it with your homies. So what exactly is consistency? Well, we know the definition of it, but in principle and practice, it feels a bit different than the definition. To me, consistency means being able to show up time and time again, doing the work that you may not want to do, may not feel motivated to do, but you have to do it in order to get some certain goal. So for example, let's say you make YouTube videos, right? And you're not really the type of person who likes to make videos constantly, but you do know in order to grow your channel, you have to be consistent with these things. So regardless of how you feel about it, from a discipline perspective, you show up and you do these things time and time again. The ultimate issue is this. Sometimes, and regardless of what you're trying to accomplish, we get kind of lucky. A good example of this, for at least in my perspective, was I posted a short a couple months ago, damn near last year, and it got 3 million views, 2 million to be exact. Now for me, I thought I made it. Like, I thought my channel blew up. But as time went on, because I wasn't consistent making videos that people gravitated towards, that was similar to the videos that they were watching and liked already, I noticed the drop off of my channel. So what does this mean for me? This means I have to be consistent in making the kind of content that people want to watch. But what does this mean for you? Regardless of what you're trying to achieve, you have to be consistent, not just showing up, but consistent in the things that you don't want to do, whether that be something small or that be a larger part in your overall project. But the next question is, why do you suck at consistency? Now here's the good news. Your lack of consistency may not actually be your fault, to an extent. Don't get too excited. And the reason why I say this is because, when we're growing up, we're often taught that yes, it is good to be consistent, but we're not told how to be consistent. The idea that you should just show up time and time again to do the work just doesn't stick for some people, if not for most people. I know it didn't for me. I'm an online coach and I'm also a personal trainer for a select few people in person. And I remember when I first started working out, not even personal training, when I first started working out, I struggled with consistency so much. But one thing I learned was that if I set up better systems for myself, then I could be more consistent. Sometimes it's not about the motivation or the discipline. Sometimes you genuinely just don't know what to do when it comes to that next step. And this is something that I applied for a lot of my other clients as well, because I would tell them it's not about your lack of wanting to be in the gym or your lack of wanting to eat healthy. It's a matter of the systems you set up which constantly lead you to failure. Either they're not well thought out or there's no plan at all. So we're gonna talk about how to solve your inconsistency by creating better systems to help you move. Now, when we talk systems, everyone always loves to bring up technology. Oh, you gotta put it on the data table, you gotta have it in a repository, you gotta have it on Google Drive, X, Y, and Z. Consistency actually does not have to be this difficult. It could be something as simple as using a journal, which is something that I use. So I use a journal just about every day. Every day on that journal, I have about 15 things to do. And for each thing that I have to do, there's always a next step for it. And it's always written within the journal in the same day. That way, when I write out my next series of things to do, I already know the next action step to take. Now, obviously, this does take some rumination where you have to think about some of the things that you're trying to accomplish and how you're going to proceed with that. But at the end of the day, having it written and on a piece of paper that is at least organized to the point where you could read it, understand what you have to do, and then go ahead and proceed with those actions is a lot better than trying to keep a mental to-do list, because usually when you keep things mental, it never gets done. So it's a lot better to write these things down. And you'll find that when you write these things down, some of these things become second nature and you're no longer writing them down. They're just ingrained in you because now that routine has become internalized, and now being consistent with whatever you're trying to accomplish is just that much easier. But what's the second thing we can do? Some people may not like notebooks, and I totally understand that. So the next best thing I would say is a Google Calendar. Of course, there are more advanced ways to go about tracking your day-to-day, your goals, objectives, etc., but putting things on a Google Calendar will ensure that not only are you organized, but you could actually revert back and go back a couple weeks and see what you were doing, and then go ahead and add the additional steps to the next couple of weeks. That way you know what the next steps are for whatever endeavor you're trying to pursue. My personal opinion, I think using these two things in conjunction with one another will help you become more consistent and stay more organized in the long run, because ultimately that's just another part of the equation. You can't be consistent and disciplined and hardworking if you're not organized. If you don't know what to do, odds are you're not going to do it. So let me know in the comments below if you want me to do a deeper dive into some more advanced techniques as to how you could be more consistent. Let me know your thoughts on these two as well. If you're interested in personal training, feel free to take a look at some of the links I have below. Thanks so much for watching. Once again, feel free to subscribe, share with your homies if they're also inconsistent, and I'll see you in the winner's circle. Peace.